All right, Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We are live. Hope you had a great 2019. Hope you have a better 2020. Good to be with you again tonight. We have a special guest with us tonight, Ruben Landrum. He's joining us. We took him out today to see the grafted trees and down to the grandfather tree. We're glad to have him with us. Of course, Rick's here. And me, and we've got I hope it turns out to be a neat program. I want to apologize off the bat, though. I'm in the hopefully coming down stages on this flu thing, and so I'm going to be kind of croaky and everything. I may even be coughing a little bit, so I apologize in advance for that. But hopefully these guys can do a lot of talking too. But yeah, man, good to have you tonight.
It's good to be here. It's good to be here. I've enjoyed some of the stuff you guys did. Of course, we went on the schoolhouse trip with you.
Right,
Standing
right. That's the first trip you've been on with us.
That was the first trip I went on.
Yeah, man, he was so helpful
on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really helped us out on that, man. Took some good video. We got some great pictures. Y'all enjoyed some of that when we were covering that after the road trip event back in October. But anyway, now this weekend we got a special treat. We've been wanting to do this. Of course, Pauletta has been bugging me about this for a while, and Maria kind of has too. She likes to get out to some of the old buildings and things like that. She's really great at capturing
Black and whites.
Yeah, but she captures, so she's got a really good eye. And
actually, she's got two of
them. She does. They both work well, man. Especially she's got a good mind for photography, and we're great to have her along with us when she comes along with us, which is pretty often. Of course, Pauletta been bugging me about going to Sweet Home. She's been wanting to go Sweet Home ever since we talked about it here back a month or two ago. Anyway, I got permission and we went out there. It was raining. Started out misting, of course, and by the time we got back to the truck, it was raining pretty good.
Yeah, I gotta admit that I wasn't feeling good, and I come back after the first half of it. I was waiting in the Jeep, and I got to see him walk up in the rain.
He whipped out is what it was.
Yeah.
He didn't want to get wet. We did get wet, that's for sure. But we were going to go to the Watkins Cemetery as well. That was our intention, but it was raining pretty hard when we went by there. And we decided to go on and do, see if we could find some other things. And in the process, got to see some geese.
Yes.
Over there around Zion. And then we went over to Flat Rock over at Sharp County. In the olden days, it was called Hole in the Rock Falls. That's what people called it back then. I guess that's what it's referred to. I think in some of the binge route records or something.
Oh, I wonder why that is.
Yeah, well, we're gonna see.
I bet you could show them.
We will. We're gonna see it here in just a minute. But some of you may have never been over there before. You'll understand why it's called. They call it the Hole in the Rock Falls, but most people call it Flat Rock now. I just put a little video together.
Yeah, a field full of geese, and the farmer that owns the farm said those are there every year. They fly away in the summer and come back in the winter.
This is Flat Rock, or Hole in the Rock Falls. As I come up, kid playing out. It's not the greatest video, but tried to capture it for everybody.
I'm terrible on slick rocks.
Of course, this is not a new subject for us. This is one we go to probably once a year on average, I guess. At least once a year, probably.
Yeah, at least.
Because it's just a neat place. It's just a neat place. And I didn't walk down there to it. Rick and them did. But
yeah, I got a post with this up close and in slow motion. It turned out pretty cool.
Right. Now this is water flowing through the rock. There's a little waterfall underneath. Under a little shelter there. But this location is also just, what did you say? 100 yards maybe from Polk Bayou. Maybe not even 100 yards from Polk Bayou, and on the records of the binge detachment, it is said that are coming out of Batesville. The first day out of Batesville, they stopped there for a rest at the hole in the rock fall, they called it. Anyway, this is a cool little tree. It's small. I say it's small. It's probably maybe 7 inches in diameter. Something like that. But
it's not a trail tree.
Probably not a trail tree. Probably not a trail tree. But it's a neat little tree, and I wanted to get that shot of it above Polk Bayou. You can see the stream in the background. That was Polk Bayou. I thought I'd taken care of the dogs, but we've got one scratching at the door right now.
Yeah, well, it's Arkansas, so
that's right.
Oh, he's trying to tell you about exploring his account.
That's right.
He's doing his own exploring.
He hears us in here having a good time. That's what he does. But anyway, let's go. So we took the trip over to Flat Rock, and that's just outside of Sidney in Sharp County. Rick, take it for a minute. I'm going to take care of Jasper here.
Yeah, you ain't gonna let Jasper in. Okay. Anyway, we went over to there, and we knew it was not very far out of the vehicle, and down to the where the event was, and Denny kind of caught me by surprise there. Okay, here he is. I won't even let the dog in, really.
Right. But yeah, some people I know. A storm washed it out, I believe. Maybe the flood of what was it, a 90 or 2008 was it, when we had the big flood?
Yeah.
But I know for a few years there at Flat Rock, and some of you who are familiar with Flat Rock probably remembers this. Somebody had a Madonna, some kind of a Madonna statue or something down there, and it was set up kind of like a grotto, like you've seen these grottos that have statuary and stuff. But that was kind of neat, and of course after that storm, I think I remember seeing it down the creek a little ways, broken in half or something like that. And now it's all gone, maybe buried or something. But
it'll be an artifact for somebody. No wonder how the Indians made this.
That's right. But yeah, if you've never been there,
Yeah.
I don't think I've made a back road map for that part of the country. Of course, if you've been on the Facebook page this week, you'll see the so-called gift that I gave everybody, the four recommended back road routes through the county where you'll see some really cool stuff, and I hope you enjoy those. But of course, be respectful, because every place that's off the road is going to be private property when you go through there. So
and remember about the bridge out.
And yes, I didn't mention that. It's something great. Why don't you tell them about that, Rick?
Well, okay. Cat Creek, which is right down the Jumbo Road, south out of Calico, right past the Gorby Road. The Highway Department has condemned it, and the county is in the process of fixing it. They're building a new one back in there. I don't really know what their plans are, but they're going to build a temporary bridge for it, until they get it.
That would be
that's in the process. It might be open now, but I doubt it. I'd say it'd be with the holidays. It'd be in the middle of next week before they have it travelable.
I think I called that the Calico Rock Mount Olive or something like that traverse. So that one that goes down the river road, County Road 13, is it? Is that right? County Road 12 or 13? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
But anyway, the Boswell Road is what it's called. But if that one route, be mindful of that. That bridge is out, so you're not going to be able to get all the way around through there.
You might want to call the county judge's office before you
Right.
Try
See,
that.
see if they've got the temporary ford or bridge or whatever
Yeah.
they're going to do there. Right. So, yeah. So we hope you enjoy that. But anyway, the other thing we did, and we'll just go into this meeting of the ancestors that we started last week, talking about Israel County cemeteries. We got a special treat to go to Sweet Home Cemetery uh, this weekend, and we got out in the rain, as I said, and we visited the resting places of the largest, I guess, the African American community after the Civil War and during Reconstruction and during the earlier part of the 20th century, up until the time where most everybody moved away, to Batesville or up north or wherever they ended up. And yeah, we've got a little video to show you that too, and I'm gonna go ahead and play that, and we'll talk through it. It starts out with some images that Maria, Pauletta, and um, Ryan shared with me, and I went ahead and put them on this little video. It's not very long, but we're just gonna show you a little bit of it and talk a little bit about as we go. So here we go. All right, that's a house that's just probably a quarter mile away from the cemetery and
Yeah,
the
I
church.
went that far, and
Right.
I couldn't walk any further.
Right. This is a cemetery. Of course, Jeff Mosher and the county crew have been working out there and got it cleaned up, looking really nice. And the cemetery is spread out pretty far, and some really really interesting graves here. Um, And I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the people tonight because later on we want to do a more thorough um, look at the African American community because it was so important in this county. Um, and um, but I just wanted to share some things with you about it that I got. Rick didn't walk up to the cemetery with us. He didn't make it to the cemetery. But what I got out of this, and there's several new graves. I believe there was a member of the community that passed away this past summer, and I know, I believe Joe Lewis Cothran was buried there last year. But there's several graves that are there from just in the last 10 to 15 years. People have been buried out there, and what that tells me is those folks, even though they've moved away and that community no longer exists, they still have a sense of place here in Israel County, just like we do. They feel like their roots are here. I don't use the word roots lightly or by any means because, um, most of them are carrying the last names of uh, Watkins. There's Kennards, and it's just, of course, the Watkins were the largest slaveholders in the county at one time. Um, but uh, but anyway, these folks need to be honored because they're the ones that did the really heavy lifting and stuff, building this county. All of these log buildings and stuff that we go and find. Most of those buildings, a lot of the labor, most of the labor, if not all of the labor, was these black folks that came with um, folks, these barns, the old square log barns and things. I know a lot of the terraces were done back in the 30s and 40s with the Dust Bowl stuff and all that, the WPA. But some of that land, all this land had to be cleared. These boulders and these trees, trees and the land worked, and those folks are the ones that did the backbreaking work. But anyway, this is I just it's an important subject, and it's one that I don't think we've spent near as much time with, and I don't think that the historians of the past have spent that much time on. Even Carl Shannon, of course, didn't spend a whole lot of that in his 1947 book, which is understandable for that time. But we want to give these folks the the love that they deserve for being part of our community and
My
helping
bishop put
grow
in
it.
front. And Lucy, my granddaddy, he kept all the old papers and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Well, his stepmom
Well, that hadn't played
had written
through.
a
I don't think
letter
I've got
to
this loop to
Washington
it.
trying to get a pension started.
Hmm.
But on there it
I'm
tells
pretty
what
sure.
regiment and everything that he served in.
Yeah, there's several men who served in World War II buried out there. This is one of them, Cornelius Brooks. Um, uh, and like I said, when we do it more detailed, we'll talk more about these folks and find out whatever we can about them. A lot of these uh, folks, there just isn't a whole lot about them. Okay, here we go. This is the church. This is Sweet Home Church. First time we were here, we're going to look at this here in a minute at the post we made after the first time I went out there. But this is the Sweet Home Church right here. It's been converted into, it's used as a hunting cabin now, of course. But this was Sweet Home Church. And I was reading a little bit from Lily Mae Watkins, said that they didn't have a school building out there when she went to school, that they went to school in a church, in the church. So I figure that was also doubled as a church there too. So,
Doubles as a school.
or doubled as a school,
Yeah.
too. So, and we talked about that. I know there's a building, and I thought that it was the old school building, and I still think it might be. Maybe one that was built later, or even before she went to, she doesn't remember or something correctly, but didn't remember correctly or something. But I know there's a building just past Sweet Home towards Franklin on the left there that's being used as a barn now. It's got 10 over on three sides and over the roof. But on the other side, it's you can see the window and you can see the structure of the building, and it's built exactly like a schoolhouse would have been. But it could have been another church. It may have been a different church. Who knows? And that may have been the building she was talking about. So, um, but uh, uh, but anyway, yeah, that was Sweet Home. So um, first time we went, Rick wasn't with us that time either. Um, was
He just don't like
where
Sweet
was
Home,
this?
does he?
Yeah.
Right. In 2008 was the first time we went down there. Me and California. It was me and California that went down there. And but anyway, this is how the church looked at that time. The old cistern. There we go. There it was. So it's good that they've fixed it up into a hunting cabin.
Yep, that helps preserve it.
There's the old
It is in
radio
better
that
shape
used to
now
sit
than it
on
was.
the porch of that building. You can see it sitting over there.
Mm.
It's no longer there. Okay, that's the plaque talking about the Sweet Home Church and the cemetery when it was set up in 1948, I believe, is what it says. As I said, we'll talk more about that. There's a naked lady that was still there, or half a naked lady. But you can see it wasn't the same time of year. It was a lot nicer day the day we went out there.
How many ticks do you get that day?
All of them.
I'm sure.
I bet all of them.
Probably so. You can see it's when it's cleaned up, it's a really pretty cemetery.
Yeah, ticks are wet. I'll take wet.
I'll take what?
Right, and we saw all these names out there, and I read a little bit today from a couple of folks that lived in that community back, growing up and everything, and I saw a lot of names. Of course, Lily Mae Watkins was originally a Darty. Her dad they moved. Her dad was from Hardy area, and I guess met his mom and then moved over here. So, but anyway, it's pretty interesting, and we'll get more into that. We want to do something. Sandy, thank you so much for allowing us to go out there. We hope you'll allow us to do it again when we can spend more time and get some more detailed images of the um, uh, marker stones and everything, and so we can do a little bit better research on the folks. And yeah, any information any of y'all have on that community, please let us know, because we want to do something. We want to honor that community.
There's got to be some old pictures out there.
Right.
Some old
All right.
I
I told you we took Ruben out. It's tree talk time, by the way.
Yeah, down the rabbit hole.
we took Ruben out to the grafted trees today, and Rick pretty well just shy of held a gun to his head to make him get down and go through the.
Then he chased me through the other side with a stick.
Yeah.
But he's been wanting to go down there and see him, and did it change your perspective at all?
They're really neat. It's very interesting. I've seen, and I've even been, I've done some things like that to some trees. I'm kind of from the area, and the spot where I grew up, there were some trees that I had bent in shapes, and then I passed back through there for the first time in probably 30 years, and those trees were still like that, and I was really amazed at what a difference you could make, and how you could locate an area with just something simple like that.
Well, yeah,
and that proves a little bit of our theory right here. That was human manipulated.
All right, yeah, right. Now, you said about how you can see them. James Card, and Stephen, what's his name, the photographer from Little Rock down there.
Yeah.
James Card has written for the New York Times and National Geographic and all kinds of stuff. But he came up, and we took him on a tour of trees. And what he was talking about, he does a lot of outdoor. That's what his gig is. He's an outdoor writer. He's done, his claim to fame is something he did overseas somewhere. Fishing on a lake or something like that in another country. But
sure.
But anyway, he was talking about it, and he said, what's amazing about these trees, and this is something we found out even with the small ones, even with the saplings that are bent, when you're looking through a forest of vertical structures,
yeah,
and you see something that's horizontal, it catches your eye.
It's like the numbers in the bottom of a barcode. Like no one sees the lines.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. That's exactly right.
It catches. It's just enough to catch your eye. And if you look over there, you see it's a bent tree. And if there is some kind of a language in the whatever bulbs or nuts or growths or notches or peels or whatever on the tree, if there is some kind of a language there, you'll know to go over there and look at that tree and see what it's trying to tell you. And, I don't go for this thing where, Indians knew where to go. I don't know about you, but if I go somewhere through a trail and I don't come back through that trail for 6 months to a year, and that trail's grown up, the first time I went through it was in the early spring, and I come back later on in the fall, and that sucker's grown up, I'm not going to find my way. I'll probably get lost if I don't have a compass or get buried, especially if I'm, not familiar with that area, if I travel through there all the time.
Well, and that's the thing is, if they traveled any kind of large areas, and it would be easier just to have here and there a little bit of a landmark, to say, oh yeah, I remember being over here because we did that. Me and Dad, when we were young, when I was young, when we would go down the river, we were notorious for just stacking up rocks.
Yeah.
And 5 or 6 rocks on the side of the river there, and then sometimes you pass back through that same spot and be like, I stacked rocks over there and they're gone. And sometimes you pass through there and there they still stand.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the trees to me just seems like something that was a permanent value. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of the same thing.
And, a white oak tree is going to live up to 300 years old, or maybe even a little older. Conditions are right, and that's several lifetimes right there.
Yeah. Your kids can use it way more.
Probably the 40s would be old age for Native American.
And getting back to the vertical, that the horizontal as opposed to vertical. Even those saplings, when you're driving down the road looking through the woods, what catches your eye is not the trees that are standing, but you can even see the saplings that are bent. They're easy to catch because they catch your eye. So, some folks say, well, why would somebody bend a sapling over wanting to mark someplace? It's going to be, years and years before it's big enough to be, visible. Nuh-uh.
No.
That's not true. Try it next time you're out in the woods and look around. See if you see a horizontal or a bowed tree that's pinned down by some kind of a deadfall or something like that. Because it does catch your eye because it's not the norm. It's not the norm. But anyway, yeah. So
I would have swore that was going to be can't see the forest for the trees.
yeah.
I guess
Yeah,
I missed out on that one.
So yeah, Ruben went with us to the.
He tried on the jumbo thong.
Yeah, that's right. He went with us trail treeing today in the rain. And it's been a rainy weekend, but we got out because we're wanting to bring y'all something that we think that you'll enjoy. So yeah, and we had that poll over the weekend. I put that poll up. Did you see that poll I did? Did you vote on it, Rick?
2 or 3 times.
Yeah. Asking folks if they wanted more trail trees or less trail trees, and somebody added just about what we got going on, and we had several responses. Of course, we have over 3,000 members today. Yay!
That's cool.
Well, today over the weekend we broke the 3,000 member mark, which is good for a
Dang, I wish I had some sparkly in one of those little
couple of hillbillies
right,
from the back roads.
We have such a narrow scope,
Sure,
here.
sure.
It's good. So, but anyway, we broke 3,000, and I forgot what I was going to say now. But anyway, all right. So, yeah, trail trees. That's not the first time. Not the first time I've done that. But anyway, I put another little video, a little deal together. This is actually something I put together.
Brother Clovis, yeah.
I put together 2 or 3 years ago. In fact,
look at that tree.
Yeah.
That one's something else.
That's a good one.
It's a huge one.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
I tried to sit on that and I couldn't.
But
It's too fat. I couldn't get up there.
right, of course, you see Clovis there. This is not our image. This is one that Clovis had put up and told us that we could use. But this is along these trees you can see up there. Well, you can't see it on your screen, but these are all jumbo trail trees. These are trail trees that have been found along the Jumbo Road corridor, the Mill Creek corridor down through there, Jumbo Road corridor.
The old Indian buffalo run.
Right. I guess you could say that. The most logical place that a trail would have, Indian trail would have been, that the white folks would have come along and, their first trails and roads would have been along the Indian trails.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Indian trail was up on the hills, and the buffalo trail was down there in the valley, so they could get around them and ambush them, and
right,
in
okay.
the kill zones.
All right, but I just want to kind of go through these trees. Of course, you can see these are 2 trees. And these trees are not very far from the grafted trees.
Yes.
Really.
And you can see these 2 trees are almost at right angles to each other. Donald told me that they're not exactly right angles, but they are very near each other. And you can see Teresa there.
That's just like the grafted trees are right angles.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's one of the trees there,
That's
Donald.
really amazing.
And one of them
Back.
points north and south, the other one points east and west too.
Yep.
Huh? I didn't think about that while we were out there looking at them, but now that
Right. Okay. Now this is a tree that no longer exists. Sadly, it died,
You can
and
tell it's dead there halfway.
right. It had been slowly dying for several years when we it was. I mean, even when the first time we noticed it and took pictures of it. But this was on Jumbo Road. Some of you may remember this. This is just as you get on Jumbo Road, about a quarter mile down the road. It's where this was. They had to cut it down because they were afraid that it would get blown over on the house or something. So they took it down.
Or on one of their children, all over.
Yeah. This is another tree. This is one we saw today.
Yeah.
Showed Ruben today too. But this is another tree that is interesting. It's not a huge tree, but it's one that deserves. And it's on the
well, if you look
it's
at
on the database.
Look at the base of that tree down there. I mean, that's really two complete trees there,
right.
and
So,
just one of them been over, and the base is
the one I just showed too is the
Yeah.
same way. It was two trunks, and they're shaped almost exactly the same the way they're that they were shaped and formed. So and they're along the same road. So we think that's pretty cool. But anyway, of course, this is what Rick calls the grandfather tree. I dubbed it originally the jumbo thong tree, but that got me in trouble. We had a lot of unruly traffic for using that term. So a lot of spam on our
we can't help
on our
what
blog.
Diddy wears. And nobody needs to know that.
But anyway, of course, that's California there, old Jim Campbell staring up. I think on one video I got trail trees, trail trees, living artifacts or freaks of nature, and I've got a arrow pointing to this tree saying living artifact, and then one to him that says freak of nature. So, yeah.
I think he's watching tonight too.
I hope he is. By golly, we love
out
him.
there.
We love that freak of nature. Of course, there's a Warren Smith on a really
There's that
beautiful
one that
tree. We
was
showed
trying
that
to show
to you
from
today
the
too.
distance.
Okay, that's the one. Okay,
Yeah.
that is
And,
just almost you can't see it from
Right. That is a really nice tree. Now, for some reason, Don didn't add that to the database.
No, he didn't.
Because it was too small or something. But that's just such a perfect tree. I just don't understand why that wasn't added to the database. But that is along Jumbo Road. Some of you may be familiar with it, seeing that off through the woods.
Well, when Don comes here, he can go out and look at that.
Right. We need to take him out and ask those folks to let us take a look at it. Of course, that's our grafted trees where we were today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Amazing sight. Just really something.
Kind of like stone.
Of course, that's a twisted tree along Jumbo
that
Road. You really got to get up close to see this to really appreciate it, because those limbs are all twisted together. I mean, it's really
not.
Really an interesting tree. There's another tree that
Clovis the tree wrangler.
Right. That's a good sized tree right there too.
Yeah.
These are trees that we have. That's a tree that I haven't actually seen with my own eyes.
Yeah.
But along Jumbo, and so that's the Jumbo trees. And then I also wanted to go through this. We'll go through this a little bit quicker. But these are trees that are along corridors that would have been used during the Indian removal in the 1830s through 1838, early 1839 probably, as people migrated west from the east. And there at the last they were forced to do it. So
right.
Well, Dad said like the Jumbo Road and Highway 9 was old Indian trails that they just used. Those was already here.
Yep.
When the white people come in.
Right. Pauletta said there's a tree similar to this one on Piney Creek. Well, this one right here is on Piney Creek. On
Piney.
Well, not this one.
That's on Mill Creek.
Yeah. I need to change my deals. What I need to do here. Okay, here we go. This one here. Pauletta. If you're watching, this is the one. This is Piney Creek. You know where this tree is, I'm sure. This is right at Gorby, along Piney. Okay, and this is along
Sandtown.
Sand Mine. This is in
Sandtown.
or Sandtown. This is in the Polk Bayou corridor.
Yep.
This is on the Mill Creek corridor. This is along the Mill Creek Cutoff Road, I guess. Is that what it's called?
I don't.
That's
No.
back.
No, that's on. Yeah, it's on the Brown Road.
The Brown Road.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Anyway, it's a tough tree. It supported me.
Yeah.
Hey, that's
That's
pretty good.
it's a big, beautiful tree.
Maybe I
too.
should make T-shirts like that.
Yeah, now
Do you
this is
need the
another
key?
tree. This is
Could you
another
go for
tree.
three?
This is another tree that no longer exists.
Yeah.
This is the one I pointed up the hill across the
And
highway
you
up
said,
there.
yeah, it wasn't there no more.
Right.
And that's no longer a small child.
No, you're right about that too.
Is that right?
That's Logan.
That's Logan there. That's Jonah. It's
Oh, I
He's
see
up the
now.
tree,
That's
yeah.
cool.
But anyway, that
Yard
the
donkeys.
that
He
fence
used to
line
call
was taken
He's got
out.
plenty of them.
And the person operating the dozer wasn't aware of this. The landowner wasn't aware of what the significance of that tree was, and it was dozed over along with the rest of the trees along that fence line. But yeah, that was along
Yeah,
the Jumbo Lunenburg
Cooper
corridor
Valley
through there.
corridor.
Okay, then this tree is
Yeah, but
this is
see, that's like the one on Sandtown Road.
yeah, it is. It's a lot like that one. And this one is near Blankenship Rocks along the Highway 56 corridor.
Renee found that.
Yep, she sure did. Spotted it. We've been by it 2 or 3 times and never noticed it. This is back over on the would be on the Lafferty corridor, which I was looking at some old maps. There's an 1836 map that didn't show any detailed roads at all, but an 1845 map showed the road from Batesville to Lunenburg and on to Athens and Mount Olive and everything, and it hugged the river pretty close. So there was just one area where it cut across the big area off to the southwest of the county that kind of jets out. There was the road went across there, which would have taken up around the Rocky Bayou, Hidden Creek, somewhere up through there, over probably along Old Wyman Road, I would think, or something like that too. That would have been the wagon group would have been using that one. But anyway, this tree lies along there. This is over closer to Painter's Bluff, over closer to, and it may even be in Independence County. This tree.
Probably is.
Yeah, it's possibly
no.
possibly even in
Oh no!
Independence
What have you
County.
done?
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, see, we do include all the
I forget where this tree is actually.
counties that had
I forget where
that
this
used to
tree
be in
is.
Izard, and Izard used to be in Independence.
Do you remember where that is?
No, not offhand.
Well,
Don't ring a bell.
it's somewhere along because
I don't know. It looked a
when I
lot
put
like
it
a
on
picnic
here, I
farm.
remember where it was. I know where this one is. Now this is along the road between Cave City and Flat Rock.
Yeah.
Yep. Flat Rock, the place we just shared with you with the video a few minutes ago. Yeah, this one has a saddle on it. I think I just put that up for kicks. Because I'm not sure where that is. Who sent us that picture, Rick?
Oh, that's Ryan and Brody.
That's the Rose Trail trail tree. He's grown up a little bit since then too, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's getting big, boy.
Yep. All right. Can't remember where this one was. It's somewhere along the one of the old road routes, trails to the county. That one, I'm not sure. It may even be the same tree. I don't know.
I know
where
where
one's
that
at.
is.
Yeah, that's another Rose Trail tree. We call that an effigy tree because it looks like a horse's head or something, you know.
Yeah, a seahorse.
Yeah, a seahorse or a horse's head. That's another shot of that's the Rose Trail tree. And this is a sweet gum. And here last week or two when we were kind of having a kind of a debate online about the viability of the theory of trail trees. And I was looking over some of the criteria and the international arborists that that formula that they use to estimate the age of trees said that a sweet gum tree is one of the slowest growing trees there is. So this is a pretty good sized tree. This sweet gum. It's down. It's on West Rocky Bayou there, close to Lunenburg, near the cemetery.
Which means it's actually a lot older than it even looks, right?
Right. It's a lot. It's a lot older than it looks. So I think it had like a factor of like 8 or something like that for every inch. You do 8 years or something.
Oh, like these things got dog years going on, don't they?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, this is a tall tree, and this is over between Sandtown and Flat Rock,
Yeah.
over there. Yep. I'm kind of surprised. I don't remember where that one is. Do you?
That's right on the side of the road because we're looking through the
Yeah.
windshield. There's ice on the windshield.
It almost looks like it's somewhere where a tornado run through or something. Bad ice storm through that spot. Or
That may have been one that
that's
we
thin
got
right there.
back us from. Of course, this is over on the Easy K Road.
It's over by Franklin.
Yeah, over by Franklin. Not far from the old military road corridor there.
Wasn't it Charles Berry that told us these that would be goalposts like that? And it did have the other one. Right.
This was too pointed. Yeah. Now what I'm saying is this tree on both sides, somewhere laying right in here somewhere is this side over here that had broken off, and it was pointed exactly. It had a nose on it, exactly like this side. So it was a tree that had two. It was like that. So
an Indian told us that it was to mark a place where there was a battle, and it was called a peace tree, where they buried both people, the tribes, each tribe together, and they, form peace. It's better than, getting your head cut off.
Right. Something else about this tree is there was kind of a rock structure looked like that was around this tree as well. So, so who knows? It may have been what Sally, Charles Berry, the late Charles Berry. So sad that he won't get to go on some of this stuff with us. He enjoyed the trail trees. As a matter of fact, he went along with us the day James Card and Stephen came up. Can't remember where that one is either, Rick. Somewhere along one of the old corridors, though. Yeah, there's Renee Brown she's found several trees along the Lafferty Road. That's a nice tree there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. These are all, I think, along the Lafferty Road. Not sure where these are.
Tree, wasn't it?
No, this is
that's
something different. One.
That's two of them there, and go back there.
Yeah, there we go.
You looped around now. Go back to that last one real quick.
Okay.
If you don't mind, if you can. Is that 2 right there?
Yeah,
there's one behind it that's doing the same thing there.
Right. And who knows? There might have been some kind of deadfall or something that laid over both those trees.
Who's to say they wouldn't do 2 trees there together? Hopefully one of them would live.
Well, and that was my other thought about that. Is like I work with bonsais a lot, and when you turn trees downward like that, they don't do well. So my thought is it would make sense to do more than one, because when they take, they do good. They'll do all right, and sometimes they just don't. And
they gotta shoot that up or shoot up there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, back to that. So, yeah. So, hope you enjoyed that little jaunt through memory lane. And these aren't near all the trees that we found along we found so many more trees. I think we're right at 20 trees along the jumbo Mill Creek Knob Creek corridor. Along there where we found trees that are just amazing trees, and you saw several of them in the Jumbo Road thing that I did first. But we hope you enjoyed that little, John. I enjoyed going through and seeing some of those trees I hadn't looked at in a while.
Every time somebody shows me one of those, I'm like, ooh.
And, you know, we do find places where there's not any. I mean, there's just not any at all, and that makes me think that where they are more special. You know, now we find deadfall everywhere, but once you get really looking at it, the deadfall trees you can find the damage on it that was inflicted whenever the other tree or whatever it was that fell on them.
And a lot of them too is the other tree rots away, they don't make it. You know.
Yeah, for the most part. Anyway. But anyway, yeah. So that'll just bring us in. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this up here. We told you last week that we've got this plan in the works, planning it. Going to be planning it over the next few months. But we do have a firm date because that's when Don Wells is going to be able to be here. Monday, July 27th through Tuesday, July 28th. That is of course, a Monday and a Tuesday. But the reason we want to go ahead and throw this up here, so if you're interested in this, want to be a part of this, we'll have Don Wells will do a lecture on trail trees one night, and one day he will do a workshop on dowsing and native science. You've heard us talk about that, and it's I guess it's the art of Native American energies and things like that. So yeah, that'll be really interesting. He's been doing a lot of work in that. Matter of fact, he's headed out to some of the Ute tribal leaders when he's passing through here to stop in here. He's headed out to Colorado with some of the Ute elders, I think, out there to do some kind of a workshop with them or something, or do something with them.
It's just not us up here in the hills being crazy hillbillies. There's, people in other states that believe in this too.
Right, and
me, I know it's true. So that's.
Yeah, so the 2020 Trail Tree Symposium. We're also going to try to have some more guests, have another lecture, and try to get someone we know with an amazing collection of Native American artifacts to display in a little.
I've got something I got to throw out there. This is some great information.
Okay.
And it's from Adam Gray.
Okay.
He thinks that these trail trees are made by real bad spaceship drivers. Whenever the aliens come and they bounce off trees, it bends them like that. And I could see a lot of where they're in line. It's a real bad spaceship driver.
There's something to that.
Yeah, I thought it sounded.
I think he's right.
Yeah,
Earth is just a big parking lot where they teach their kids to drive.
That's right.
So anyway, this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a lot of fun. This 2020 Trail Tree Symposium. This coming July. Mark your calendars for that. All right.
It'll be great.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So, it's going to be a 2-day event. It's going to be a real. We're going to, do it real deal. We're going to find a really great place to have it.
Maybe get Lane to bring some artifacts that he's found over the years.
Yeah, we probably talked Lane into bringing some too, but someone was talking about someone in particular.
I allegedly know someone that's got a couple of those.
Whose name I didn't name drop, but whose name was dropped anyway. But you know who you are. But anyway, we're looking forward to that, and kind of scary because we've never done anything like this before. But anyway, So the symposium. With that, that's about all I've had planned for tonight. So.
I got my information out.
Good. Yeah, I enjoyed the.
And
I
thank
enjoyed your
you for
input.
coming.
Your,
Thank you. And
you're welcome to come back over anytime.
There's a spot I definitely on the property I grew up in Franklin. I want to take you to. That's I'm pretty sure I've got the guy's got one of those on his place now.
Well, we look for them in that area.
It's it's just you can probably throw a rock to it from Strawberry.
Yeah, and you know, in Strawberry they had trails all letting down through there.
Well, I'm gonna get this. Put my eyeballs back on. Get my mouse over here. All right.
And this is the first night with 2 monitors, by the way.
Yeah. Right, and we haven't been keeping a good close eye. Sandy said, "Hi, Rick. The church also served as a school."
All right.
This is Sandy Plumley. The other building you spoke of that's up the road was at one time belonged to the Rucker family.
Correct.
So awesome.
Cool.
Awesome.
I grew up in a tar paper house also. You know, I know how they felt in there in nights. You know, got a good wood fire and oh man.
That's no man.
It wouldn't matter how.
I remember that house. I remember the wood stove, how cozy it was, and how cold.
I blew up a basketball on that real hot one time too. That was exciting.
Yeah, that was a good place.
There's a lot of air.
All right. Well, we could reminisce all night, y'all. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Listen, if you did, please like us. If you're not subscribed to our Hunka Hillbilly YouTube page, go over there and subscribe to us. I will be uploading this not long after we finish the live stream tonight. I will get this thing uploaded. It'll probably take a couple hours to upload with the way our internet is here. But we'll get that up to you so you can watch this live stream and not have to worry about all the pauses and jerkiness and everything. So anyway, please like us and subscribe. Like this video on the Facebook group. Tell your friends, family about it. Have a watch party sometime if you think it was interesting enough to entertain some of your friends with. So, but anyway, we're going to be slowly making a move where we do more things on YouTube. We haven't done a live stream on YouTube yet, but I want to do that here before long too, Rick. As I've been talking about, we're hoping to make some changes and have a little better setup in our studio where we don't have dogs bothering us and everything else.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I love dogs in the studio, man. BB King famous. So,
like I said, my opinion on dogs in the studio. I said let them in.
All right. Happy New Year, everybody. We hope you have a great 2020. And we hope you join us on excursions. I better say this. I want to mention it. We are going to plan on doing a flash excursion. Not sure exactly what we want to do yet. Probably sometime late January or early March. And we want to do it. And, if you're a part of it, we want to ask you to contribute to the cemetery cleanup crew, Jeff Mosier and them, right, to help them.
Office or district court.
Well, you can do that now. Yeah, but we want to do this. We want to do this event and raise money through that event to do that as well. Okay, so anyway, they have a lot of needs. They have a really small budget for what they're doing, and doing the cemetery work costs them a lot of saw blades and mechanic work. And
some of these
and
places are in really bad shape, and they just come out sparkling.
Right. Well, you saw what the Sweet Home Cemetery, and we're gonna over the next few weeks we'll get to some of these other ones that they've worked on this past 6 months or so. But anyway, Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy
New Year.
Ruben, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me. I had a great time.
All right. So with that, we'll just go ahead and end the video. Y'all have a good evening. Have a good Happy New Year.
Ta-da!
Woo! That's cool.
That's what being on TV's like, man.
Can't be that easy.
We're entering into the year of hindsight. You know, they always say everything in the past 2020.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's always a little fuzzy looking back. I don't know.
You need to have the shade up right now.
She always cuts me.
Yeah.